Hello, how's it going? Right, I'm gonna keep building settlements here. Make sure, have I built one here? I don't think I can. I've built a settlement. Is that a fishing village? Oh, because I have the pops. Is it? Hold on, what's the total population capacity? 56,000. That's okay. I think I've got 5%. All right. Oh, they made the Casus bigger. How long does that take? Because that'll only take about... Okay. Not too long. 13, so that's 30, 40, 40-ish years. 40-ish years, that's 80 minus 80. Maori started colonizing. I think what happens, I'm assuming, is that they're probably just going to start off with Maori and not have to deal with like the immigration. But it's possible that they could, like, if, like, let's say you're playing as someone in Southeast Asia and you start colonizing the islands, you might get like an event that says, oh, the Maori are starting to migrate to your islands. It's possible. I mean, they could probably do that. I don't think it would be too difficult to do something like that. But I think that would be, yeah, that would be a very interesting thing to happen. And a cool detail if they did add it. Yeah, okay, so I'm maintaining my taxes, high taxes on the nobility. I'm currently, what am I at war with? I'm at war with Norway, right? What should I do here? Right, I'm gonna leave these guys here for now. I've got a bunch of troops down here. You know what I need? I need more cogs, more transportation ships. Also, we need to go and build up our levies. So we'll build up all of our levies here. There we go. So we've improved our diplomatic spending. We have high cultural influence, which is great for annexing a bunch of these guys. I'm just going to go and shift over there. I'm going to get rid of this one. All these guys are great. Great for this. And I'm not going to leave 11. I'm going to leave something like 8 of these guys. Okay, we're just going to do that again. We're going to go with type. Not total strength. Why can't I search for type? Yeah, it's kind of dumb, isn't it? Alright. Half. Okay, so we'll leave 8 here. And the rest of these ships are going to go here. No, we're going to go here. Check this out. Check out the maritime control as well. Okay, so we've just equaled out here. That's good. We've equalized. Ah, Bruges. They've. I guess because I own the market now, I can deal with that. Whatever, that's fine. Let's have a look at my market in Paris. Hmm. I kind of stepped it up apparently. So apparently you're not supposed to build your cities on food provinces. I just thought it would like even itself out by like. Or wheat might be a good one. Wheat's really good. It's you can get so much fucking food by doing wheat, but um yeah. So apparently it's a good idea to actually build up your towns um, on iron and stuff like that. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna build my cities on iron because apparently you can get more output for goods like tools. I'm just gonna have a look at that again. Tools, iron, right? So we need iron. That's something I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna go build in Hastings. Uh, and then I'm gonna test it out. Stone as well is another good one. Horses too. Pottery. What about pottery? We have a landing. Oh, yes, we've got to deal with the Irish as well, so we're going to start assembling our Irish divisions. Keep it as a part of Britain for now. Excellent. Excellent. So, I kind of want to go and declare war on Mali. Let's have a look here. Can we do a religious war? Create a caster spell, eh? Religious war. Okay, we just need the 20 in Mali, and then we can declare war on Holof. Another thing we might want to consider doing is explore. Or we might be able to buy maps. Okay, can't steal any maps. So one of the things I want to do right now is build some navies. We need some more hulks to make sure this is a transport ship. Yep. 5, 6, 8. Ten ships. Honestly, I can probably just win this war with the levies that I've got on me right now. So that's what I might do. I might go and, yeah, dismiss the levies and get my people working back in the, yeah, let's do that. There we go. And then what we'll start doing is we'll move our pops back to go and increase our maritime control. Excellent, look at that. Okay. Monument Pillar of the Cluttered Man. Oh, I might need to go and get some guys here to deal with the Algerian patriots. Yeah, we'll do that. Oh yeah, we can take either the money. I like the money, but we could also take Luka Dominitz. Yeah, he's all right as an artist. I want to compare him to my other artists here, though. Yeah, you know what? He might be one of the better ones. So we're gonna go and get him to work for the great emperor of two Romes. research and construction guilds, being legislative efficiency. Da 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 da. What's the printing press? We're on 21%. And, yeah, okay. Clergy insurgents. Alright. Fucking Christ. It's a good thing we only sent our levies in. Oh yeah, and good thing about this is we can take lots of money off of Sweden. Yeah, we can take the institution. I'm gonna wait until I get more spread. Yeah, we're not giving them money. Fuck that. Fuck no. Oh, right. I'm still not gonna give them the money. I'm gonna wait until the opinion goes down. You know what? We got the extra diplomat. I might as well. Why am I improving relations with these guys? Who the hell is Freising? Oh, I think what I was planning on doing was increasing relations with Austria, and I must have accidentally hit the other guy. Central African coastline. You know what? We're not gonna raise those levies. I'll just send the troops down. From Norway. Excellent. There's a new market, and we are a part of it. Does that mean I get to... Oh my god, I get to build some things. Excellent. That's why they built the market. I run out of food. Oh my god. Let's go and grab our navies here. Theodorus. Yeah, there's a Greek in charge of the Ottomans. Sorry, a Gothic guy in charge of the Ottomans. They've got very Greek names. Artemios. Theodoros. Is the country... Oh my god! I'm not a fan of any of these. They're all kind of shit. Increase control. I don't want to do that. I want to spend my money haphazardly like that. I might want to do maybe forest exploitation. Might be good. Bloody hell. Okay. I'll use this one at the last second here. Send all the troops. These guys even have even less money, so I don't know. Let's have a look at maritime control. I think we have enough here. We will have enough when we annex Renai in July of next year. This is a part of the coastal province, so I'm going to be taking this, and this from the French. And then I'm going to go and find ways to declare war on the rest of these fellas. If any of these guys are, like, excommunicated, that would be great. Be really awesome. Yeah, I am gonna get a lot of coalitions, I think. Oh, they're still dealing with the subjugated country opinion penalty from when I subjugated these two guys like 100 years ago. Man. Do we lose support? What? Yeah, okay, let's spend the money. We'll do what we can to save them. Look for our navy as well. The one that should be up here. East Friesland. Where is East Friesland? Is this the one? Oh my god, I'm gonna accept it, sure. Oh, I am the leader of East Friesland. Count. Count du Friesland. I don't want to take too much land, if I'm going to be honest with you. maybe this. Yeah, I just don't want to rock the boat too much. I definitely want to take the money though, because I'm taking all of it. It's my war. Oh yeah, you can move through Denmark. Oh, that's really cool. I'm assuming this is what the sound toll is. I'm not going to give Byzantium money. Why would I do that? So when does the annexation finish? July again. Okay. Oh, fuck off. So we've got 6 iron here. What we want to do is build up industries related to iron. So tools are really good. Fucking hell. Goddamn comments, man. Alright, so we can build an extra lumber in these locations, I believe. Are we not able to? Oh, I don't know. Maybe it was just some of these ones up here. Anyways. More lumber's good for everybody. Food from the market. Let's have a look at the food from the market. We are still making lots of surplus food from market, so that's good. We haven't completely screwed ourselves over here. Oh, you know what? Let's do it. Actually, let's not do it yet. We're gonna go and take our troops back. Send them there. Send them back home. To Bruges. Now, we're gonna do what we wanted to do before. We're gonna go and peace out. Peace out, motherfucker. I might take a bit more land here. Just the coastal provinces, though. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. Alright, we want to declare war on Morocco. Let's do religious war. Ah, we're now one of the great powers. Awesome. For about 8 years to annex. So when we're at 77, we'll go and start the annexation process for Iceland. Let's see, we should have lots of control up here. Local assembly, okay, whatever. The child has fallen. And I kind of want to do the same thing here. I'm going to start, like, wresting control from Aquitaine here. Alright, let's just move the troops back up north. Okay, we're gonna go and set ourselves 11 light ships. Oh, oops. There we go. So, that's 11 light ships. We're gonna move the rest of these guys down here. We're gonna go and these. The Western Britain coast. So, we are now dealing with the Western Channel Navy. Patrol. Decline. Our people have been enslaved. Whatever. Whatever, man. Meritocracy. Oh my god, we got meritocracy. That's fucking crazy. Okay, let me think about that. Iron. We have built up tools. We make a lot of income through this because we've got lots of... Oh, actually blacksmiths. Oh, what the hell? Production efficiency because of iron in Sussex. So we make lots more tools. Just by virtue of being within the resources and the location. So that's where most of my money's gone, man. We're not importing for profit. We need more wood. Lumber. They got a lot of supply here. I mean, we're gonna lose money doing this, but let's do it. We'll take all your lumber. Yeah, you know what? I kind of wanted to do a new playthrough now. This is like a really good place to end it. I mean, I really like where I ended up, but I also feel like I could do things so much better this time, knowing what I know. Um, so yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. This time I'm not gonna build up my I'm gonna be a lot more efficient in terms of how I build things. I know how to make money now, through buildings. Um, this is what I'm gonna do. Yeah. So I might play as someone else though, but I think England is really fun though. I like playing England. Oh, also, obviously, I can form Great Britain much earlier this time. Um, and I would like to do that. Um, English flags E5. Alright. Scottish Led Union has Paris, blah blah blah. If you own and core, I have to own and core. Alright. Alright, I'll be back in a sec. Alright, how's it going, everybody? So, I'm gonna start a new playthrough. I'm gonna do England again. But I'm mainly doing this, and I'm starting a new playthrough because I've learnt so many things, that I regret. I regret some of the choices that I made. So I'm gonna, like, go back and do this playthrough and get it all right this time, hopefully. So one of the things that I kind of regret doing is, not specializing my cities. Which feeds into my second mistake, which was not building cities on RGOs to reduce the cost of production. So, like, for example, like, iron. I had a lot of iron mines in the south of my country that I did not take advantage of, by building cities on them and producing, like, tools and stuff like that. So you can make a lot more tools by doing that. I think it also it reduces the price as well of goods. I might be wrong about that, but I know it does increase it increases production efficiency when you produce goods with the local resources that are required for said goods. Whether that be iron in the case of tools, or I think you can probably get a discount for lumber, but I'm not gonna build set towns on lumber locations, because that would be a very wasteful, I think. The second thing is I did not. Oh, sorry. Third thing is, so we're not talking about towns anymore. Third problem was that I was not focusing on navies. I did not build up my bark fleet quickly enough, or as early as I could, which I think was a big mistake. I think getting maritime power is, like, really powerful. Fourth mistake, I made my vassals too early. Not only that, but I didn't use my vassals to their fullest extent. Now I know, the way you use vassals is you effectively, you give them territories of their primary culture. So, for example, you want to give them your Norman vassal Norman culture provinces, because they call them straight away, or any cultures that they deem as, like, accepted within their country, or tolerated, I should say, then they will call that stuff. I wasn't doing that, and so a lot of my vassals actually had lands that they couldn't call, that they could integrate but not call. But this time I know I should be doing that. So we're going to be doing that. What else? Talk on Witty Town Rural Meta. What does that mean? If a place should be left rural and not upgraded. Yeah, well, my assumption is the meta should be get as much production efficiency as you can, because you can produce more goods based on production efficiency. That's another thing, right? You want to turn your economy from a traditional economy to a capital economy as quickly as possible. Traditional economies only focus on farms and food, where capital economies focus on production in cities. I mean, you can technically get more goods in a capital economy in rural locations, technically, but it's a lot more efficient if you do it in cities, because you can produce more goods in a more denser area. So I'm just going to test this out. I'm going to go and play again. I'm going to play and select any country. We're going to select England. And we're going to go through this playthrough just to test out my theory on production efficiency. And instead of using my my ministers for culture conversion, I'm gonna let my vassals do my cultural conversion related stuff. I feel like that's the most efficient way to go about it. I'm getting a lot of theories online about what the best meta is, which is very interesting. Nobody has no one has a solid and concrete meta for this game, which I actually really like. That means this game is how should I put it? It is in depth, I guess you could say. The mechanics in this game are incredibly deep. Like, there isn't an obvious strategy. I mean, you have some basics which are like, oh yeah, you probably want to build a town and specialize your town, but what exactly? How? What do you need? Every country is different, so like you've got a lot of stuff like that to consider whenever you're playing a different country, which I'm assuming, based on my limited experience as England, for my first like 60 hours, like 88 hours of the game, I feel like I haven't like even grasped the basics yet, and it's still like I'm having a lot of fun with this. It increases population capacity, blah blah blah, allows for higher social class. I'm reading stuff while I'm waiting for the thing to load up, so I can get a better idea as to what I need. So one of the things that I want to focus on is getting glass. So building a city on a sand location would be useful to get the glass works. Rag paper as well. That's another thing, right? So if I can get cloth, I can make rag paper. Oh, that's another thing, right? Production methods are an interesting thing you can take advantage of. Because production methods may be more efficient depending on which town you're building in. So, like, if you want to make paper, for example, a really great place to make paper is on the eastern coast in Essex, right? Sorry, I'm gonna make a note of this because I'm making notes on my Discord about my game and my progress. burgers very situational, as Portugal in 1500 the burgers max taxed the same as commoners while having them blah blah blah. The 100% RGO size, which you'll probably need a lot of burger builders to get the same effect in towns. And then there's the point about taxing efficiency for commoners being way higher. Oh, really? So I'm wrong then. Oh, fuck me. All right, I'm gonna look at the Playmaker. I just check it out. I hope it's a short video. It's probably gonna be like an hour long. The student? Alright, the student, thank you. I was looking for the Playmaker and he didn't do any of that. So the student economy. Is this the one on the official like Paradox YouTube?
From where we are to where we're going at that rate. The other thing to keep in mind is all these prices are...
Okay, let me have a look. The student U5. Oh, this is the thing that you were talking about with the rural meta. I've seen someone commenting on Reddit saying that doesn't really, it's not
Hello there.
necessarily
I'm the student,
correct, because a lot of it, a lot of the issues is that you need lots of manpower, and in order to get lots of manpower, you need like effectively to spread out your towns, right? You want to build more towns to get more manpower because you can build barracks per town, and the way that it scales up is like you need like lots of pops in order to get in order to increase your levels for what is it, barracks or armories? I think it's armories. That's the one that gives you manpower in the early game. So that's one of the issues that you have with that. So sometimes it might be better just to deal with the costs like that. The other issue is food, right? You don't want to build towns in places like in food provinces. I've noticed towards the end there that I was actually running at a deficit for some of my provinces because I'd built lots of cities and like in wheat areas. So yeah, it's one of my problems. And I'd like to see and test out the simulation with this to see if I'm right or wrong about this, but I think it is better to keep the RGOs, keep towns um, for food provinces, and then build up towns in places with high manufacturing potential, like iron provinces. I think lumber might be one of those exceptions where you don't want to build towns on lumber provinces because then you get less lumber, like total lumber. One thing you might want to consider, right, is because you'll be producing lots of tools in iron provinces, is that you might want to actually build lots of lumber mills in iron provinces because there'll be lots of tools. So it has a kind of knock-on effect, right? If Did the Ottomans really go Orthodox? Yes, they did. They went Orthodox. It was fucking crazy. Not only did they go Orthodox, but their king was a goddamn goth. He was from, like, Theodora or whatever. So, I don't know. I don't know what happened there. But, yeah. So you can reduce the price or increase the efficiency of lumber production by building lumber mills in iron provinces, effectively, in a very roundabout way, which I think is interesting. That's if my simulation is correct. In fact, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play as England. Oh, hold on. I didn't set Iron Man. Okay, I'm just going to go back. Go back. Or maybe I can cheat it. Can I cheat? I can't cheat. Okay. I'm going to go exit to desktop, and I'm going to do a bit of a simulation here. Just to see if what I'm talking about is correct. The problem is I'm not entirely sure if if the local tools increases production efficiency, or is it local tools that are left over in the market after, like if it's surplus goods, like surplus tools, or if it's just like manufactured goods or extracted goods in the local area. So I don't know if I can come up with a simulation that would account for that, but I'm going to have a look at that anyways. So debug mode. Start it up. I'm just gonna look at some videos anyways. Or maybe not videos. I'd rather read. I can read faster than I can watch videos. On EU5 because it's just. I think they take a really take their time to get to the point of whatever thing. Claim the throne of France. Alright. Oh yeah, giraffe. I didn't notice that. Oh my god. The great guy. Oh my god, it's still loading. Come on, man. Okay, so we've got these southern provinces here, iron. Oh right, so they start with a port, a kink port, chink port. I don't know how you pronounce that. Anyways, we want to look for console commands here for commands. Build everything possible. No. Add building. So if I were to build a building, actually, can I put a town, town. Location. What about instant? Instant war, instant exploration, instant construction. There we go. Okay, so I see. Instant move, instant mission. So what we need to do is fill these pots, right? I'm going to do two things here. I'm going to set the simulation so that we have 9 iron here and whatever equivalent here. We've got about the same amount of pops here as well, so we're going to go instantly construct and then place our laborers here. Can I get like a... Okay, so we're gonna get laborers or citizen type. Pop. Update pop cache. Tick pop. Monthly tick pop population. Around, move random pop. Changes population. No random pops. Overpopulation pop editor. Okay, let's go with pop editor. I'm gonna do laborers. So did I do it right? I didn't do it right. Well, I don't know how this works. Oh, I see. So if I were to go like that, shift. There we go. So what do we need? 7,000? Oh, did I not do that right? Hold on. Try it again. So we're gonna have a look at this. Pop editor, burgers. 6,000 apparently. Why aren't they popping up? Oh, maybe it'll pop up in a month. Alright, well. We're going to go and instantly build this as well. This is going to get built up. This is already built up. Excellent. So we're going to build these as well. And then we'll get the extra pops here. Pop editor. Pop editor. Pop type. Da-da. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hopefully we'll get the pops. Oh, it didn't. What the fuck? Alright, we'll try that again. Pop editor. Oh, did it give me the wrong one? Hold on. Oh, I did burgers by accident. Oopsies. I'll do laborers. 3. Turn it off. Try it again. Yeah, whatever. We'll just, we'll have a look at that later. Anyways. Pop, pop, pop. Oh my god, that is way too many. Anyways, so, we have the iron. What do we want to do? We want to build, just to test it out, Tools Guild. So we'll build as many as we can. We need more money. How do I get more money? Is it gold or ducats? Lend money. I don't want to lend money. I just want the money. Cash. Cash. There we go. Cash. Okay, there we go. So we do this again. We're going to go and produce as many as we can. Now we have tools. We want to have a look at production efficiency. So we've got 10% because it's in Sussex, and we've got the extra 14% because of production efficiency. We're also going to go with most profitable first, which increases our thingo, blah blah blah, which will give us more production efficiency. So we do get thingo here, 14%. So how many tools do we make? We can make 5.21. How many tools do we make here? We just let's upgrade this to its fullest extent. We're going to do the pop editor again, and I'm going to go and grab burgers, and we're going to put 1,000 in, and then test that out. Wait for the month to tick over. There we go. So that's 9 iron, 13.37 goods. Just looking at this as well. Iron in Sussex, so that's 14.5%, 11.45%. I'm going to do the math here, so that's 13.37. Uh, 1.2633. And the other one is... we use 5.2. Hold on, I don't think I did the math right there. Hold on, give me a sec. 13. So this is another thing that'll increase, that will increase production efficiency, is literacy. So if you increase the literacy of your burgers, you'll produce more goods. So that's another reason why you want to build. You want to spread it out. So you want to get the tools here. I'm gonna actually find me another thing to bounce off of. So we want something that uses tools. I think weaponsmiths use tools. What is that? Stone as well. Oh, they use tools and coal. Produce. Oh, you know what? I was talking about laborers. We can get lumber mills which use tools. And then you can use the lumber mills to create charcoal. Can I make coal? I remember that being a thing. But maybe that's for something else. Where are the lumber mills? Right. Right, so you can only build charcoal kilns in lumber building towns. Oh, so what if I were to build? We'll do the lumber mills. We'll do like 5 of them. I will instantly build them. So production efficiency of 4%. Oh, city equals more production. But this, so the laborers don't actually get production efficiency bonuses for tools. Using tools that are produced in the same location. But all right, give me a sec here. I'm still having a look here. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe it isn't worth it. Oh, my bad. So it actually takes everything from the province. Um, hold on. So, oh, wait. I'm just gonna look at this again. Oh, right. Okay. Okay. So it might be possible to min-max it if, like, let's say I increase my iron production in these provinces and then build my city in the least useful location. So, for example, I think stone would probably be not as useful as lumber and iron. Um, so another example here, we're going to have a look at... Oh, this is actually a really bad example. So, yeah, I'm just going to use this as an example. So Sussex is a really good place to go and build, like, weaponsmiths. Because of the stone, you get extra, you can build, actually, let's just, I'm going to have a look at this again. Right. Do I get production efficiency for doing this? Hmm. Okay. Fiber crops is another one, which I believe you can make. I think you can make paper out of fiber crops. So building a city up here would be neat. I'm gonna have a look at that again. So paper. If I can look for you, paper, 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 paper. Uh-huh. So this is fiber crops. Fiber crops are great. Okay. Livestock. What does livestock feed into? Tanneries, saltpeter guilds. Right, fiber crop farms. Which is a laborer thing. But when you build the fiber crop farm, okay, you might be better off doing a fiber crop farm in a place that produces oh, maybe not. Man, there's so much more to think about now. So, tanneries, apothecaries. Ah, okay. Mendicaments are important. Alright, I'm going to go and like make myself a spreadsheet here. Oh my god. I need a spreadsheet. I'm building spreadsheets now. Alright, so lumber mills. Okay, so laborers don't take advantage of. So what does tar do? Castles, wharfs. Okay. cannon makers. You can also do copper for that. I think copper would be better. Gunsmith, copper, iron. You can reduce the cost of iron if you use lumber. Oh, that doesn't produce as many guns. So what's that? 0.045. Where was I? Yeah, give me a sec. I'm gonna fucking spreadsheet the fuck out of this. Okay, so... Actually, you know what? I'll spreadsheet it once I'm in the game. But I want to plan out my actual towns when I get around to it. When I accumulate cash in the early game. Oh. I thought it crashed there for a sec. Okay, get rid of debug mode. Play. Yeah, goddamn. This is like way more fucking complex than something like Imperator Rome. So much more to think about. In Imperator Rome, I remember the meta was, oh yeah, just build up your main province and ignore everything else. At least that's how I played it. But now it feels like, yeah, like there's so much more to think about. But I would say, I think my main goal is to have one city or one town in each province that produces goods based on what is inside the province. So, for example, in Sussex, because there's lots of iron and lots of lumber, I want to produce goods that take advantage of the local iron and lumber that's produced inside the province. You know, the funny thing also is that it means that London is actually kind of suboptimal as a capital in many ways. Because in the London node, you only have wheat. There's no, like, natural resources or useful resources in the local area that you can use to actually reduce the cost of goods and increase the production efficiency of your industries. I am playing as England. I'm gonna mess around with my game rules as well while I'm here. So we're playing normal difficulty, historical AI, blah 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 blah. Flavor. So we want allow ahistorical ones. All countries can be formed. AI colonization by all countries. AI exploration only Western countries. Dynamic rules. Countries can convert culture if visible criteria are filled. Oh, okay. Black Death. Yeah, okay, we'll just keep everything the same, but these guys are the Eastern Roman Empire, so that's going to be our main game rule. We're going to Iron Man enabled. Not a... Hold on. Achievements not available. Can only be unlocked if Iron Man is enabled. Game has not reached... you play single player. Hold on. What the fuck? Okay, let me Google this. I mean, not Google it. I'm gonna check my properties. I've turned it off. I am playing single player. Game files that affect gameplay are unamplified and you must not be using any special launch options. Check some. I just want to make sure I'm not, like, screwing anything here. Right, so none of these options are... It's just ahistorical formable countries and Roman Empire, Eastern Roman Empire. Alright, now I'm gonna have a look at the achievements again. Not available. Not possible in the current campaign. Okay, why? So I should be getting CDAB, Pixum for EU5, but I'm getting this fucking random. Hold on, I'm gonna go back to main menu. Alright, I'm gonna verify my files and see what's going on here. It's frustrating. Install files, verify. I'm also checking my properties. Checking general, I'm turning that off. There we go.
The EU5 economy system isn't very simple. For one, when you build a workshop in EU4, you would just make the money the workshop quote-unquote produced. But now in EU5, you can only make money taxing the profit from the workshop. There is of course a lot more going on, but instead of info dumping to you how market access, proximity cost, control, trade goods supply and demand and all that works, well, today I want to give you 5 tips, in sequential order basically, for how you could go about going from a broke, backwater nation to a prospering, rich one. Anyway, before we get into the video proper, well, a like would be appreciated and a subscription would be amazing. And as always, if you're buying EU5 or anything else in the Paradox store, please use code LemonCake. It does help support the channel, but enough self-shilling. Let's get into the game. So here I have an Iron Man save from the 1st of January 1500. I've played, 163 years so far, just under, because technically the game started in April. I was playing as Scotland, united Scotland, annexed my subjects, grabbed man, and basically sat around in Scotland, not doing much. Now, this actually isn't an economy run
Oh my
purely, shall we
god, he's
say.
making so
Now,
much
I need
money.
money to achieve my goals, but I'm working on, shall we say, something else, right? We'll get to that. Hopefully this video is done sooner rather than later, specifically on what I'm working here. But I just want to point out that while I am looking at economy in the specific save, I'm not exactly hyper-fixating on economy. Most of my focus is on this, right? And the other thing to, of course, bear in mind is I am very much holding myself back by sticking to Scotland. From a, dare I say, roleplay perspective, if I wanted to expand into England, it would be very profitable. My proximity from my capital is looking pretty good already, especially so is my control, meaning that most of this land, basically Northumbria as a whole, will be quite profitable, and frankly, even probably up to London, I'd still be able to extract value out of the land as well as all of Ireland if I was playing this game conventionally and how I should be, dare I say, in a profit maximizing environment, but I'm not. With all those disclaimers said, I am still, at an economy point, feeling myself in a pretty healthy state. 381 income in 1500 isn't ridiculously amazing, but it's certainly enough money to get by and achieve my goals, at least I hope. And while it is true that I've kind of inflated this number by not increasing stability at the moment, I was also saving up for more city upgrades. That being said, I should probably get my stability fixed. All I'm trying to say, though, is that while this isn't some ridiculous amount of money, and you could certainly be richer if you are more aggressively playing the game, I would say this is certainly also enough money for most goals. That being said, let's now use this save as an example and specifically talk through each and every single one of the 5 tips I'm going to offer you today. And for tip number 1, and this is going to primarily impact early game scaling, well, that is going to be build RGOs, or resource gathering operations. Every single tile in the game, literally all of them, has an RGO associated. So for example, Edinburgh is sturdy grains, Dunbar is also sturdy grains. Of course, I picked the 2 examples that are the same. Duns has wool, and so on and so forth. Dumfries has, for example, fiber crops. Excellent. Well, even in the most worst extreme case scenarios, RGOs are practically always, and I do mean practically always, if not literally always, profitable to build. Why? Well, let's break down one of the worst possible RGOs at the moment for me to build, the sturdy grain RGO. If I were to upgrade this, I'm going to increase the supply of sturdy grains in the market. And at the moment, the sturdy grains in the Edinburgh market are very oversupplied. There's 54 being supplied and 22 being demanded, meaning that the base price of one, which is already terrible, has crashed down to 0.4. In essence, meaning that I would employ 1,000 people to make 0.4 ducats of tax base. Doesn't sound great, especially when you factor in that we are affecting this by control. Now, control in this location happens to be pretty good. My capital is right outside after all. But at the end of the day, this is a pretty not great setup after all, right? As far as RGOs go, most are going to be better than sturdy grains. Now, sturdy grains is also deceptive. It provides you with food, so it is good for feeding the nation. But imagine an RGO that is extra terrible, doesn't even have food, and it's selling for 0.4. Basically, the worst case of market oversupply for an RGO. Well, my question to you is, what are those peasants doing if they're not working an RGO? They are working in subsistence agriculture, right? That's these gentlemen over here. And if you look at this food breakdown, subsistence agriculture produces food, but very inefficiently. This is a high food producing province. It is rural. There are a bunch of food production techs. There's decent development here. But let's say you've extra focused on food and there's a famine, right? Which will give you the max price of food instead of the current min price. So if we bump this 84% up to 100, let's say you've really hyper-focused food in a traditional economy, and you've gone even above and beyond, and now you have 3,000 laborers making 3 food, right? So you've hyper-focused on this food production, but you're still somehow in a famine. But anyway, again, we're taking the extreme of both cases here. And so you're in a state where of those 3,000 laborers, 3,200, you actually have 3,000 employed and making 3 food, just to make our math a little bit easier. Well, how much is that 1 food per 1,000 laborers selling for? Well, at famine prices of 0.2, 1 food will sell for 0.2. Meanwhile, the worst possible RGO, without any extra food associated with it, this sturdy grain, is going to be selling for 0.4. You've doubled your money in this extreme case of a very high producing food province that does not have food production built in the middle of a famine, which again, as you may guess, doesn't tend to happen often, and comparing this to an artificially deflated RGO, a sturdy grain that doesn't have any food production attached to it, and even in these both cases of extremes, you're doubling your money by building RGOs. The reality of the situation is it just only keeps getting better from here. Now, I've crashed a lot of prices for my RGOs as part of my economy maxing, so livestock, which would normally be a decent RGO at 1.5, is still selling at 0.53, but that's still 0.53. Again, it just keeps getting better. If you take a look at a good RGO, for example, copper, where, well, look, I was able to supply my market with copper, but it's still supply and demand has been met, and hence the copper price is sitting around 3 ducats, just dipped below to 2.86 here. As you can imagine, 2.86 is a lot more than 0.2. And that's the thing with RGOs. They're also, well, look, they are affected by control, but they're not affected by market access. So this is just profitable to build in basically anywhere you have a core for the base 20% control. And anywhere close to your capital, especially in the early game where most RGOs start level 1, you want to be building them around your capital or future capital areas. They're going to be incredibly profitable and a great way of scaling your economy early. But alright, you've built the RGOs, what now? Well, next I'm going to introduce to you this concept from, dare I say, the ancient era, but one that you should still be applying, and that is going to be the palace economy. Namely, that you should be building your industries in either your capital or as close to your capital as possible. And your capital should also be, ideally, well, your actual capital. So if my capital was Dumfries and I was building around in Edinburgh, I should move it down to Edinburgh. And I should also have a market center on my capital. It is pretty important to obtain a market center, and let's talk about why now. So in Edinburgh, I have the market center giving me 100% market access, and I have 100% control in Edinburgh. This is great. This is basically the best case scenario. But anywhere that we go outside of Edinburgh, we're going to have less control and less market access. Now, one of the things that you may see if you're starting to read around the game is certain trade goods and certain production methods are going to have throughput bonuses. For example, this apothecary is making medications, and because it's making said medications with fiber crops, it's getting an 8% production efficiency bonus from fiber crops. This is good. However, we have to bear in mind that the control in this province isn't 100% because it's the capital. Now, the control here is pretty good. At 90, I'm not complaining. This is still a good, profitable endeavor to make, although in this case, I think, yeah, unfortunately, apothecaries have been a bit overproduced at the moment, but either way, let's look at guns instead. That always tends to be a profitable industry. Well, the control is already reducing your tax base by 10%. If you hover over taxes here, as you can see, the loss from control is reducing it by 10%. Market access, though, is a slow and insidious killer. And market access at 89% here is still really good, I would say. However, what does market access do? Well, it basically shoots most of the production efficiency you gain from local throughput in the foot. If you take a look at this output of guns here, market access is reducing it by 0.89, and that's at 90%, meaning that 11% of the guns would make disappear.
Yeah, I'm
into the
aware.
market
I'm
void.
fixing my game because apparently I can't get
market
achievements
access
anymore.
is pretty good, but if you are building something for 8% production efficiency and then losing 11% production efficiency just because you are losing 10 market access, well, that doesn't seem to be a good idea, and hence in practice, you should be building things in as close as possible to the market center as you can, and as close as possible to the capital as you can, to minimize the losses to both control, as well as to minimize the losses to market access. To give a more extreme example, over here in this province, the bourgeoisie for me built a saltpeter guild, which, I mean, is still profitable, so it's telling me I should invest more into saltpeter guilds because there's clearly a demand for saltpeter. But if we look at the actual output of saltpeter, we are reducing this by 0.58. So despite having a 8.3% production efficiency bonus from local throughput, we're losing half of our output simply because it's so far away from our market, meaning it'll be significantly better to shove it to Edinburgh, or if we're running low on building slots, to shove it around Edinburgh. By the way, for those who are wondering, so why don't you just build everything in your capital? Well, there is a building levels in every single province kind of limit, and once you exceed the total amount of buildings you can build in each province, it gets significantly more expensive to build further buildings. We'll get into the later tips, but this is the reason you can't 100% just have everything in your capital market center forever, right? However, until this building level is reached, and any kind of industry you are trying to build, whether it be silk, leather, spinners guilds, tool guilds, most of the time, it's better to build it in your capital and as close to the market center as you physically can. On a more later term purpose, as you start focusing on capital economy, getting more production efficiency bonuses, well, you'll be able to offset the lack of plus 10% from throughput and make up for it with other bonuses, like again, capital economy, land of commerce, increasing your literacy rates, and just having a lot of buildings in the local area. This is actually extra insidious for book production, as everyone in the game has access to a 25% production efficiency technology on books, meaning that local throughput on book production, increasing it by 10% in the ideal universe, is significantly less impactful all of a sudden. But okay, you've built your RGOs, you've stolen a market center or created your own market in your capital, and you've built your capital up now. It's approaching the limit on buildings. The question now becomes, how do I keep going? How do I keep scaling? Well, for that, and tip number 3 is going to be expand in a core or ring around your original palace economy capital. This is still something that's in progress in this save. So if we take a look at our location ranks, we've upgraded Dumfries and Berwick, and we'll be working on Glasgow or Glasgow over here, as well as building up industries over here because we have good proximity to them, and they're still going to be good places for us to urbanize and build up. I've also gone ahead and urbanized every single one of these other locations, and this is the second part of, well, the general planning and how you want to build a society. workshops and other industry need pops to work in them. However, you certainly can encourage migration. This is another thing I recommend you do to get to the 30,000 pop limit required to upgrade to city. I've been a bit overzealous in Glasgow here, but I'm doing it to around 50k pops because the plan is to have quite a bit of industry over here when I eventually do upgrade. The reality of the situation is that you actually want per province at least one town and eventually city rank tile at least. The reason for that is that these locations that are urban are able to build granaries, and granaries provide you, when it comes to your demographic population growth, a large food storage and profit spot. This is important because rural locations also have a bonus for rural settlement location, but they're able to get the bonuses from large food storage. When combining this with keeping your food prices cheap, having a lot of available free land to population cap, you can get a pretty decent amount of population growth going. And look, 0.56% or even let's say 0.4 on a global level, as the population growth isn't great. If you take a look at my historical graph and ignore the couple of times I had to raise levies for wars and dismiss them, and a bit of a bumpy road to the process here, and this little spike that would be explained if you watch the later video, assuming that does happen. For some of our literacy setup, there was some temporary gaining of land we had to give back. As you can see by the graph in general, population is definitely something you can work on, and especially after the effects of the Black Death and the dipping down to like 150k pops, certainly recoverable. Yes, migration helps, but domestically growing your population, 0.1% per annual pop growth over the scope of 100 years does add up. The other thing, as you start to move out from your cap,
Alright, I think apparently the only solution is to go and uninstall EU5, so I think what I'm going to have to do is just go through the whole thing and rip everything out, delete everything, and then reinstall, so kind of annoying. But I'll be back in a bit, so just give me a sec. I think it's because I was messing around with console commands. That it broke my thing. Kind of annoying, again. But yeah, hold on. Backup saves. So I've saved everything. That's really dumb, isn't it? How big is the file? I don't think it's that big, so I should be able to like reinstall it in like under 30 minutes, but I gotta rip everything out. So save, uninstall in Steam. delete both additional game folders. So I'm going to destroy my Steam copy of this. Apparently it is uninstalling. Anyways, I'll again, I'm gonna be leaving. I'll probably come back to you in like an hour or so, and we'll start a new playthrough. Hopefully with the correct checksum. Who knows though? But yeah. So back in like